I didn't get this far to get this far. And neither should you. Neither should you feel that you managed to get this far just to get this far. Let me explain what I mean by this whole idea of you didn't get this far to get this far. Think about all the butterfly effects, all the little things that had to happen to get you to where you got, or to get you to where you are. It's quite fascinating when you think about all the little things that had to happen, all the conquests, all the mishaps, all the serendipity to get to where you got to, ancestrally even. So think about that part. It's pretty fascinating, right? Because there's so much that we have no control over, and then we suddenly get here, and then we're blessed with this opportunity, and then we can run away with it how we wish. And the problem is that people have that zero self-reflection. They don't think about the past. They don't know where they are, and they don't know where they're going. And the second that you begin to observe the simple miracle that it is that you're even here, and you reflect on that, and you become fascinated by that idea, it only makes sense that you do what you can to try to actualize your potential and at least make something of yourself. Not for any other reason, but just for the simple fact of you're trying to have fun, have fun with the world, engage with it in a way that's fun for you. And I wish I would have understood that earlier, but it's better now than never, right? And the reality is life isn't going to wait for you. It's not going to wait for me. It's not going to wait for anyone. And so we could stay shackled in our own sort of prison that we've made for ourselves and stay stuck there. But there's really nothing there for you. You're not going to feel good. It's not gratifying in any way. Nor will it ever get easier either. So you'd rather be upset, angry, and frustrated working on something, or upset, angry, and frustrated working on nothing. You decide, because the in between, the difference between the two is that one, you can at least decide to be proactive and lean in towards, and then the other is one that you just let kind of fall by the wayside. And plenty of examples, plenty of archetypes of the loafer out there, the type of guy that kind of has it all figured out because his needs are all met. His father has blessed him with a very easy life. So he spends his entire days stoned, not doing much and just kind of waiting for things to happen. These guys remain infantile for very long, and it's not entirely their fault. It is because they don't realize they have the agency and capacity to change that, but it's also because their fathers have put them in a position where they've gotten so comfortable that they don't really have to break out of that. There's really no reason to, right? Why would you want to make yourself uncomfortable when your entire life has been about curated around comfort, right? Designed for comfort. So why would you disrupt that in any way? And so if you're one of those guys that's in that situation, you have to be able to find a reason to get out of that. And that's quite difficult. I'm not going to say it's easy. And that's kind of the misfortune of being blessed with comfort, is that it's a lot easier to dig yourself out of an uncomfortable situation than it is to dig yourself out of a very comfortable one. So I can understand the frustration, right? Which is, how do you get out of that stupor, right? You're so comfortable. Why would you want to get out? It doesn't really make any sense to do that. And the only way I can say that you can get out of that is to think to yourself, well, what would because the person you are now versus the person you could be, that gap in between those two is enough to keep me up at night. It's enough to make me uncomfortable. It's enough to frustrate me, right? Because then if I know that I have something left in the tank and I'm not doing anything with it, I'm going to be really upset at myself when I look back on life and think I could have done a little bit more. And this is not coming from like a hustle culture mentality. It's more so just like the passion, the spirit, and putting my energy into something, crafting something out of that. More so than like, am I going to get a monetary compensation for it? Because, you don't want to fall into the trap of being hyper productive in an economic sense purely for that reason. It would be more so for the endeavor, right? For the adventure. Because I think that stress is actually really good for us. It's good for me for sure. because otherwise I just end up loafing around, and it just doesn't feel very good to feel sorry for yourself, because it's like, look, the reality is no one cares. No one cares what you do. No one cares what I do. And I think the faster that you sort of cement that in your mind, it makes it easier for you to kind of just delve into whatever it is you want, because no one's keeping track. Um, no one says anything. No one has an opinion. No one even knows. I mean, we think to ourselves that, oh, everybody's keeping track, keeping tabs on what we're doing. The reality is that's not happening at all. So might as well have fun with it and operate with that sense of ease, because there isn't anyone really keeping track of what you're up to. So might as well, have fun with it. I don't want to be repetitive, but it's like you have to remind yourself of it if you are tepid, if you are half stepping, that you need to move with a little bit more urgency. Because like I said, at the end of the day, you didn't get this far to get this far. So push yourself to the next level, right? Whatever that level is for you, push yourself to that extreme, if you will, and see what the feelings are, see what the emotions are, see what you learn from that. Those experiences are for sure the memories that we hold most onto. It's not the things that we accumulate, it's more so the experiences that we rack up, that for any man is the value, the intrinsic value that you have over time, is it the experiences that you accumulate, without a doubt, is the best thing for you, is where your stock is as a man in terms of your attraction and what you can bring to the table, both for yourself, for for your loved ones, but also for a potential mate. These are all things that will factor in, and it makes sense, right? Because that's the reason why older men are considered attractive, is because they've racked up experiences, not necessarily because, sure, they've accumulated resources, but without a doubt, it's absolutely because of the aura, as you will, that they call it. So just keep that in mind. Rack up the experiences, and the only way you can do that is to really push yourself out of your baseline, whatever your baseline is. And if your baseline is staying at home for 15 plus hours under the couch, then that's your baseline. So get up out of there. Start with a gingerly walk around the neighborhood. Maybe hike. Maybe go to the park. Something to kind of begin to get out of that comfort, right? And you slowly from there, you build it up, and you try to make it so that every time it gets your threshold increases just a little bit more. And that is the ultimate goal. Okay, so message is, you didn't get this far to get this far. So push past your baselines, and I'll see you on the next one.